excuse me.
You okay?
Yeah,
Gonna live?
I'm fine.
Okay. Just asking. You sounded bad.
I'm okay.
And then you pounded your chest like a gorilla.
Well, you know. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So, you okay?
Something tastes weird in my mouth.
Gotcha.
Like weird mouth taste.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So welcome to Creature Crunch, the podcast where we watch a monster movie and try to crunch that guy down into a not a 40-foot tall snake and and make it into some sort of digestible monster. Hope we don't regurgitate this one all over.
You tried.
I tried it and failed.
No, you didn't fail. You just tried.
Appreciate that. My name is Matt,
and I'm the snaky one.
So, Chris, what are we watching this time around?
Well, this time we watched Anaconda,
Ooh,
big old snaky movie.
We sure did. And what did we think? I mean, I know this one's a little bit. It has a nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's definitely a fun set. Like it's.
Yeah, like that's. I remembered enjoying it when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered looking back on it and going, wow, what a terrible movie. And then we watched it again and it was just like, you know what? It's not as terrible. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. You know, it's like, wow, it's a fun movie. It's a very, very
It's a fun
movie.
When I first watched it when I was but a wee little me, I was actually scared of it. Because I had pretty severe ophidiophobia as a kid.
Okay.
And this movie just like hit all of the right notes to make me piss myself in terror.
I can see that.
And like now it's just like, okay, this is a really funny movie. Like it's
right. No, it's a lot of fun. I remembered enjoying it as a kid. I remember it being one of the movies that, growing up, being one of the movies that one of the first movies that I actually sat back and was just like, you don't think that's true. So
you mean this movie isn't 100% scientifically accurate, Matt?
Chris, I am afraid to tell you that no, I think they took some liberties. But I mean, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So as of right now, we watched it on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably the easiest place you can
at the
find
moment.
It.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, I did see it for rent on Amazon Prime, but
yeah, but if you have a Hulu subscription, go for that. It's there without ads, so may as well.
Yeah. I honestly didn't do a whole lot of research into the history of the movie this time around.
It's kind of a weird place because like it's got some people who went on to become huge names or were already good character actors. And then the director did nothing,
which is bizarre. I thought
the director came out of nowhere and was like,
faded
okay,
back into obscurity.
This is my one big shot. I'm done. I'm gonna go produce stuff forever. And like he's, I guess, a pretty big name in telenovela production, like in terms of producing those, but never directed anything again.
Maybe he was like,
done.
Yeah, I guess to follow your passion, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've got some big names in this movie, like you said. We've got Jon Voight. We've got Jennifer Lopez.
We have lots of Jon Voight.
Yeah, so much Jon Voight. And I'm gonna be honest, this movie would not be anything without Jon Voight.
J-Lo gets top billing in this. The movie is about Jon Voight and Ice Cube.
Yeah. Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jon Voight is a delight in this movie. Just so much fun. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But we've also got a very young Owen Wilson.
Baby-faced Owen Wilson, like he's about 12.
a wee boy. I had completely forgotten that he was even in this until his names hit the credits.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah.
Not like in the top billing of the movie, like he's just kind of there.
I mean, this is before he got real big, right?
Yeah, this is like pretty much all of them. Like
that's fair.
J-Lo had done, in terms of like English Hollywood productions, had done Selena before this. This may have been Ice Cube's first big role. He'd done, a lot of music videos and a few documentaries and stuff like that, but I don't think he did any Hollywood type stuff until this.
I think this was probably my introduction to him, if I'm not mistaken. But
Eric Stoltz and Jon Voight had other movies before this.
Right.
Like they're character actors, so they show up a lot.
Right.
And then there's Owen Wilson, and I don't know if this was his first or just nearly his first Like, I'm not that well versed in the career of Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. I should have looked this up, but I did not. Yeah, this is his third movie.
His third movie?
Bottle Rocket and The Cable Guy before this.
Really? He was in The Cable Guy.
Yeah,
I totally spaced that.
Evidently.
It's been forever since I've seen that movie, but...
Yeah. He played Robin's date.
Oh, jeez. Okay,
he wasn't even in... So, yeah, no, this was his first probably bigger role.
Playing a named character movie.
Right. So yeah, babyface.
Yeah. And also, this is really important to note, Frank Welker did the voice of the snake. Frank Welker, you may know as the voice of Fred from Scooby-Doo and Megatron from the Transformers, and among a million other things. He is the third highest-grossing film actor ever. And here he's voicing the snake.
If I had known that going into this movie, I would have watched it with a completely different context.
Yeah. So every time you hear one of those snakes roar or hiss or growl or make some other non-snaky noise, it's Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Oh my goodness. That is
it's really
incredible. So yeah, we enjoyed the movie, and of course, it's got that kind of. It's a horror thriller action typical movie.
It's a jump scare movie, like
in
a lot of ways.
Jump scare movie for sure. Kind of felt like almost like a slasher movie.
Kind of, yeah.
Do we recommend it?
I do.
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
Absolutely. Like
I can't even really add a caveat on this one. It's if you got an afternoon to kill, it's a good background movie.
Yeah, and I fawn over Jon Voight in this movie so hard.
Jon Voight is incredible in this movie.
If for whatever reason you haven't seen it already, definitely do yourself a favor, check it out. But if you also haven't and want to continue listening, just be forewarned, there will be spoilers. We're going to talk about the plot, but
Such as it is.
I definitely recommend watching this movie if you haven't. So let's just jump right into it. Yeah. Chris, this was your movie, so take it away.
I'll take the helm here. We start out with a text crawl that is a bunch of big lies about anacondas.
Yeah, the I definitely don't remember this. Maybe it's because when I was a kid, it was like, ooh, reading text at the beginning of a movie. Yeah. I don't want to do that. This isn't Star Wars. So I don't remember that. But it does say, like, unique among snakes, they are not satisfied after eating a victim. They will regurgitate their prey in order to kill and eat again. And I'm really glad I don't live in this movie's reality, because that would make snakes just infinitely more terrifying. Like, that is horrifying.
Yeah. I mean, anacondas can regurgitate their meals, but it's usually because there's a bigger threat in the area and they need to get away and can't move that fast if they've got a whole caiman inside them.
Right. Like, I can't imagine a reality where I have expended a bunch of energy and time and effort in catching something and eating and beginning to digest it, something that is going to keep me satiated for months on end. Yeah. And just deciding to not have that anymore in order to kill something else. Like, that is wild.
And then, now I gotta go eat this thing.
Yeah, no, in this movie, snakes are just straight up serial killers. And I have to implore, it says in the crawl, unique among snakes. It is not saying that this is a unique trait amongst the giant anacondas. This is just snakes in general.
It's... Man, I don't get it.
No, this reality is terrifying. I'm glad I'm not there.
Like, with the exception of swimming through the water, there is not a single thing that the anaconda does in this movie that is based in science.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No, again, real science. This movie lives in its own reality, and it embraces it. It embraces it, and you know what? I'm here for it. So
after our text crawl, we go to a debearded Danny Trejo, barricading himself on a boat. He's barricading himself on a boat. He fires at the camera a few times and off camera a few times, and starts climbing up to the top of it, starts yelling in Portuguese. The subtitles did not help me in this. It just says Portuguese.
Yeah.
And then after he is stranded at the mast of his boat, he offs himself to avoid being whatever.
Yeah. At this point, I guess we don't know.
We're not supposed to know that the Anaconda movie has an anaconda, I guess. Yeah. I don't...
It could be something else.
It could be something else. One time it's a boar.
Spoilers, Chris. We're jumping way ahead.
Okay.
So...
So we go to J-Lo and other guy, what's his name, Eric Stoltz, and they are preparing to go on a expedition for, I believe, National Geographic. Did they ever actually say that?
I never caught that.
Okay, it's
myself.
It's like a nature.
Yeah, and something that I am going to preface, like in the previous episodes that we've reviewed, I have taken it upon myself to reference the characters as their character names. In this movie, I cannot bring myself to do that because these are not, like, these are big name actors.
Yeah,
I do not remember.
Like,
I do not remember most of their names. Their in-game or their
in-game.
I don't remember their in-movie names, with few exceptions. So I will be.
J-Lo is J-Lo. Ice Cube is Ice Cube. Jon Voight is Jon Voight, and then there's Steven, Westridge, Mateo.
Right. Yeah. I mean.
And Owen Wilson.
And Owen Wilson, exactly. So, just as a heads up, that I'm going to be interchanging those names.
It's hard not to. It's hard not to in this one.
But yeah, we're kind of introduced to our cast at this point, right?
As they prepare to go down, they say it's the Amazon River, I believe.
Like, yes, it is the Amazon River.
For sure, the Amazon, even though it's not filmed there.
Right.
And I don't believe anacondas are there. Like, I think that's something that I have read in the past. That anacondas are not. They're south of, or I don't know actually. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. There's something that I've really been trying to kind of change in my own perception of movies, because I've always gone into movies with the natural of like, well, that's not realistic, humdrum. But now I'm definitely changing my perception of understanding that this reality is the movie's reality.
I guess
so that's kind of what I'm going with. So it doesn't matter if it's scientifically accurate. It doesn't matter if it's physically possible.
Geographically.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the context of the movie, in this movie's universe, these whatever happens is fact and truth. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm going with, and I think it's helping me come to terms with a lot of the more questionable decisions that they make.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
our intrepid film crew is looking for the Shirashama tribe, the people of the mist, who apparently live on the Amazon River and are only spoken of in legend and myth. So we meet the rest of our crew. Ice Cube makes a joke about having a good day, because that was Ice Cube's song.
Yep.
Having a good day.
Yep.
A good day.
Yep.
So it's a joke.
It's because Ice Cube is a rapper, gentlemen.
Yeah, he does the raps.
Yes. He sings things, and he stars, and he's in movies now.
He's in and TV shows.
And TV shows.
He's in SVU. He tells you about all the drugs that the kids are on.
There you go.
The film crew is kind of a ragtag bunch, you might say.
They don't like each other. I don't know.
They like each other. They don't like Westridge, who is there as like.
To be fair, he does fill that like '90s role of being prim and proper, snobby Englishman. Yeah, like
there to be a foil. And,
exactly. I mean, you see that a lot in that era of movies.
The outsider of the group. He's there to do like the narration, stuff like that. He's not a part of their typical film group.
Right. But you know, he does all of those cliches. Like, he's got too much luggage, and he's worried about clothes.
He's
and
golfing off of the
boat and everything.
And the rest of the crew are drinking beers, and he's sipping
champagne and like fancy glasses and things. Absolutely. So things that, like, I don't know, maybe people like him exist in the real world. I don't know.
I have to imagine they do. We just don't deal with the upper crust that much, man.
Right. But again, in the context of this movie, I mean, this is the thing that happens. So this is what your nature documentary hosts they're like.
Right.
They don't apparently like nature.
Yeah, really. Well, yeah, what the hell? Why is this guy doing this job? He doesn't seem to like it very much.
He's probably got his own reasons, like student loans. And I don't know, man.
A car.
Those golf clubs aren't going to pay for themselves.
Yeah, right. So. Anyway, we start on our quest down the river. Owen Wilson makes some off-color comments.
I just put in my notes, Owen Wilson, don't be gross.
Yeah.
It gets better when you realize that the girl he's hitting on is actually his girlfriend in the movie. So it's like, okay, that makes it a little bit better. It's still like, Wilson, there's a time and place.
He isn't great in this movie. Like, he's kind of gross.
Like, I don't like him. Then again, I don't know. Like, I like Owen Wilson just fine, especially in some of his more recent things.
Right.
But like when he does start making sexual jokes, it very much screams sex offender to me. Like,
well, especially in this where, like, they were trying to play him as, like, a budding bad guy, a budding villain, like, almost.
Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't really work for Owen Wilson unless you really lean into it.
Yeah, no, he's got that, like...
Especially here where he's got a baby face.
Right. I mean, he already has that kind of, like, teddy bear charm.
Yeah.
So,
that, like, oh gosh.
Yeah, it doesn't really work in the in this movie, but...
And I don't think we get a single wow from him.
You know what? I don't think we do.
Yeah.
I don't remember any.
So that's like one of his first movies and his most recent work in Wanda. Or in
Loki.
Loki, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which just doesn't wow in.
Nope. Alright.
So the crew gets caught in a storm, causing them to find a random Jon Voight.
Yeah, wild Jon Voight appears.
Yeah. His boat's been wrecked, and he's marooned, so they bring him up on their boat, so they can drop him off at the next village.
And all I have to say is, thank God for Jon Voight in this movie. I can't stress enough how much fun he is in this movie.
Like, I can't imagine anyone else in that role and having this movie be worth watching at all.
Oh my God, the mugs he makes for the camera, the faces,
yes.
like, it is just...
Those giant eyes that he just, like, pops in one frame and then they're gone.
Oh my God, the slightly parted lips so you can see parts of his teeth and his eyes are squinting.
Yeah, the fact that he 100% wants to fuck a snake in this movie.
No, it's just, chef's kiss. I love it.
Yeah,
God, he's so good.
So good, yeah. Mateo, the pilot of the boat, doesn't trust Jon Voight straight off. Like, just gives him dirty looks.
Yeah.
Which is not unwarranted.
I don't understand. No, I don't get that. You know, Jon Voight's just doing what he needs to do. He's stranded. He's at a down point in his day. I mean, come on, people. Give him the benefit of the doubt, people. He's clearly okay and on the level.
Jon Voight starts... I'm not even going to call him, like, it's Jon Voight.
Yeah, like, his character's name is, like, Paul something or other.
Sereno?
Something like that.
Sereno.
I don't care. He's Jon Voight.
Yeah, seriously.
He's not Paul. He's John. Get it right.
Well, he's not even John. He's Jon Voight.
Excuse me.
Yeah, like...
Right. So
it's impossible not to refer to everyone in this movie by their full Christian name.
I mean, that goes with most actors, but yeah.
Anyway, Jon Voight, like, pulls his weight by doing some spearfishing. I really hope those were fake fish. I don't know.
I didn't pay too much attention.
Like, I hope that they didn't just murder a bunch of fish doing 12 takes of this scene. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We get some background on Jon Voight's character, more so than we get on any other character in the movie.
Which is interesting, but then again, they know who's the star.
Yeah, like, he was a priest who left seminary to make his business snakes.
He's in the snake business.
He's in the snake business.
He's all up in the snake business.
Like... And if you imply that he stopped being a priest because he's a failed priest, he gets mad.
Yeah, he didn't appreciate that.
No, you don't appreciate... Like, he doesn't appreciate the implication that he failed at anything, so don't do that. He does, however, know about the tribe that the crew is looking for. He knows where they can be found, knows legends about him.
How convenient.
Yeah, very convenient.
See?
Almost too convenient.
No. They just need to trust this man. He's got all the answers.
Yeah. So we drop to that night, and Owen Wilson and Denise look at fireflies for a bit, and we get some really awkward dialogue from Mr. Wilson.
Was it Wilson? I thought it was Stoltz's character.
Was it Stoltz?
Yeah, I thought it was Stoltz who said that.
Yeah, it was.
It was because he just straight up describes flashing like
the females with a series of short, dainty, feminine little flashes, about 8 per second. The males respond with a series of long, drawn-out, manly flashes.
I mean,
Jon Voight wants to fuck a snake, and Eric Stoltz wants to fuck a firefly. That's what I'm getting.
Stoltz, quit trying to like project your senses of gender on fireflies, please. Yeah. This is just anyway.
Like I do have to say that Eric Stoltz and J-Lo are pretty cute in this movie.
Yeah, no, they're very enjoyable.
Stoltz isn't around a whole lot. Like
Not as much as I remembered, for sure.
Like, he gets taken out pretty fast, and then he's only back at the end of the movie, but...
Spoilers.
But him and J-Lo are really cute together.
No, they are. They
make a nice couple.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, that's kind of it. Like, most of the acting, save for, Owen Wilson, most of the acting is pretty decent.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
you
a little over the top at times. Voight.
But that's why he's there.
I know, he's so much fun. I'm so glad.
That is not a flaw. That is a feature.
But no, everybody in the movie is charming in their own way.
Mm-hmm. Then we get our first, big scene of the snake as it eats a panther?
Yeah, it was a panther.
Jungle cat of some kind. And then just leaves its eyeball.
Yeah, it did not finish its eyeball.
And I is the implication when the snake squeezed the cat, its eyeball just popped out and it left it there, or what?
That's with
because that's almost cartoonish.
It is insanely cartoonish. Like, it's supposed to be horrifying. It's not. It's also not a great effect. Like, it's not. It looks like a glass eye with maybe a little viscera just kind of stuck to it. It doesn't look like an eyeball that had popped out. I mean, but given, future knowledge, future information in the movie, that's probably the implication, is that its eye popped out when the snake crushed it. They almost try to shoehorn information like that later on that doesn't really pan out.
It's one of those things where we don't need to be told what an anaconda does. Like, that's a known creature.
Right.
Like, we know what anacondas do.
Mm-hmm.
Even if in this they don't act like real anacondas do, we know what anacondas do. We don't need to be told that they do a squeeze on a man. Right. Or whatever.
But the thing is, since you're invoking that, if I'm not mistaken, anacondas don't so much squeeze to crush their prey. They squeeze to make the prey not be able to breathe.
Right.
So squeezing to, pop an eyeball out or powder bones or whatever is... Yeah. I mean, to be fair, to me, it's what it separates these anacondas from real snakes to monsters. But, I don't know, it does not... Like, maybe if they had added a cartoony sound effect, something like that, it would have maybe... I would have appreciated it more, for sure. But,
or if, the crew would have found the eyeball and just been like, why is there a random eyeball out here? It's just, it's a weird little scene.
It's very strange.
It's a bizarre setup for the snake when we actually have a better one later on, in a couple scenes here.
Well, that, and we also had one at the beginning of the movie, to a degree. I don't know. It seemed weird and pointless, but whatever.
They just really wanted to kill that cat.
I guess so.
Fuck that cat. So we get some more time with our crew. Ice Cube and Westridge threaten to kill each other over the radio, damn near coming to blows. Ice Cube pulls a knife on him.
Yeah, they've been on the river for a day?
A little over a day at this point.
So,
and they are already fed up with each other.
Yeah, having your cameraman and your host about ready to kill each other on day one
that's not great.
Yeah, that bodes poorly for your documentary.
Yeah. The crew and their Jon Voight find giant snake totems. Voight tells them that they belong to the Shirashama people, and that there's a tributary they can take off that way that will lead them to the Shirashama.
Yeah, and Voight does a lot of lore dropping.
Yeah,
and he says that they're protected by warrior snakes.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure he's at that point just describing his latest D&D campaign.
Something, man,
So, it's just...
Okay, they keep calling them the Shirasama and the people of the mist and stuff like that. Are we sure they're not just Yonti?
See, that's... They have to be?
Yeah.
They actually have to be.
And, all through this thing, we are given severe hints that Jon Voight is, in fact, the villain of the movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well.
Perfectly outstanding guy. I mean, I don't know what... I am pretty used to the hero of the movie being lit by from below and very ominous light
under his eyes.
Yeah, that's a standard trope. I thought he's the good guy.
The crew decides not to take Jon Voight's tributary shortcut, instead continue on the route they were going. This will prove to be their downfall. Maybe they probably would have died faster if they went the other way.
Yeah, probably.
Owen Wilson and Denise go off by themselves to record some ambient night noises and also to fuck.
Yep. And then we're reminded that this movie was made in the era where the killer is summoned by sex.
Summoned by sex, yes. Except instead of summoning a giant snake, they instead summon a giant boar.
A boar-shaped snake.
A boar!
Some kind of weird boar snake.
See, that would have been something. I've seen fantasy movies with tusked snakes before. It could have been one of those. But no, it's just a boar, man.
Dang.
Yeah. Jon Voight kills the boar, and Ice Cube is shocked to discover that people eat pig. Ice
Cube learns where bacon comes from.
Yeah. And then we jump to the next scene where the boat... Is it like the anchor? Is that what it is? Like, what catches in the motor?
Rope.
Or in the propeller? It's rope.
It's rope.
Why do they have just rope trailing after them?
Yeah, I don't know. Rope boat. Boat rope. Boat rope.
Why are we doing this?
Because we're idiots.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, their boat rope gets caught in the propeller.
Yep.
As you do.
So they got to jump in there and cut that rope loose.
And at this point, Stoltz reminds us that nature is absolutely terrifying.
We get a little bit on the dreaded Candiru, a naughty little fish with a penchant for swimming up a person's urethra to feed on the damaged tissue of the ruined mass of flesh you once called your penis. But yeah, Stoltz tells us to fear the Candiru, and then he dives into the water. And Jon Voight just gives J-Lo the worst possible face.
He does a lot of that in this movie.
Yeah, but he gets entangled in something in the water and starts to choke.
And then the movie reminds Stoltz that nature is terrifying.
Yeah. Owen Wilson and Ice Cube pull him back up onto the boat. And he's got a giant wasp shoved in his throat.
Yep.
I don't know how a wasp got in his throat under the water.
So I thought maybe they'd mentioned it later in the movie, and Voight does have a line, like a line, not even a throwaway line, but he does have a line indicating that he was responsible for it. I assumed it was in the scuba gear, like it was in the snorkel.
Think so? Okay.
That was what my assumption was.
See, when he gives that line later, I thought he was just like trying to play off Jay, like, "Oh, you're blaming me for everything. Why don't you blame me for the fact that he inhaled a wasp or something like that?" No,
I think he was being very boastful, and he was probably just trying to get Stoltz out of the way.
Okay,
I don't know. That's the implication that I always got.
Okay.
I could have swore, like, I remember being confused when I first watched it as a kid, and then later on, like when I was watching this movie, I was just like, "Oh yeah, isn't there something in his face mask, in his snorkel or something?"
Okay.
But they don't ever explain that in the movie, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
I wonder if it's a cut scene or something. Like, I know there's an alternate cut of this movie.
It's a possibility, but I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I don't know how else that wasp would have gotten in his mouth
underwater.
Yeah. But then and then the movie taught young me what a tracheotomy was. Yeah. Oh my God! Why can I not say that?
I don't know.
This movie taught young me what a tracheotomy was.
See, it's not the word tracheotomy that you're having problems with.
I know,
it's continuing the sentence after it.
This movie taught me...
You fucked up already? Want to go for take 4?
I think this might stay in the cut.
Yeah, come on.
This movie taught young me what a tracheotomy was. Oh my God, I can't do it.
Take 5. You gotta keep going. I'm gonna call it to good. I'm holding your goddamn feet to the fire on this one.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah. Take a breath. Compose yourself. Just...
Alright, I gotta get we gotta get my motivation. This movie taught young me what a tracheotomy was.
Hey!
Yeah!
Woo! We did the thing.
Champagne pop.
Yeah.
Alright.
Wow.
That was hard, guys. I need to go lay down.
So Jon Voight pokes Eric Stoltz in the throat, and then we determine that we got to get Eric Stoltz to a hospital. He's out of the danger zone right now, but he's not in good shape.
Nope.
The radio on the boat is broken. I assume this is also further Jon Voight sabotage.
Yeah, probably. I'm beginning to think that he isn't actually the hero of this movie, Chris.
Jon Voight once again brings up his alternate tributary route and says that it'll bring them to another village faster where they can get transport to a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
He just may be lying about this. Like, he's probably not being super truthful.
We don't know that yet.
We do know that. So they backtrack a bit to the tributary, and it is blocked by a huge gate.
And I honestly, like, as much as I love Jon Voight, I could go a long time in my life to not see him mouth fondle a mango again.
You can eat a peach for hours.
Oh, it was... Like, I love him in this movie, but that was not pleasant. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Yep. Jon Voight shows how he's going to get this gate open with his big dynamite-shaped keys. And Owen Wilson is very excited by the fact that Jon Voight has dynamite. Like, that's...
I would be, too.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Yeah. It's like, he pulls out that dynamite, and I'd be like, yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah. Denise doesn't want to blow it up because it might damage the wildlife, and they're here to record things. They're not here to...
Explode things.
Explode things, yeah.
I don't know what her problem is. You can have best of both worlds at this point, but...
Not right now.
You could blow it up and film it being blown up.
Owen Wilson and Jon Voight go to blow up the wall, and Owen Wilson is very nearly snaked. It's very close snaking.
Yeah. And and this is just in one of those scenes that just really exemplifies the other aspect. Like, Jon Voight is so much fun because of the mugs he makes, but he's also super fun with the delivery and his lines.
Yeah.
It's just...
There's something down there.
That's right.
I really mean it.
I really mean it too.
But yeah, Jon Voight is just super good in this movie.
Yep. And then Owen Wilson and Jon Voight blow up the gate, and we get the first scene that really triggered my ophidiophobia as a kid, as it rains snakes.
There are snakes everywhere.
There are so many snakes, you could fill the Great Lakes with snakes.
There's a lot of snakes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the gate was just made of snakes.
Yeah, they just weren't moving.
Yep.
We get snakes of all shapes and sizes. They're supposed to all be baby anacondas.
That's what Voight says.
But they're not.
Well, no, not even a little bit. But again, in the context of the movie, it's like... You start getting the breakdown of, like, even the movie's logic, because as I was reading online, it's like, if these are these baby versions of the giant anaconda, and Voight's plan is to capture the anaconda alive,
right?
Why not just take a fistful of these guys and
put them in a cooler?
Raise them to maturity, and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you are very, very rich. But
I guess his theory is that these giant anacondas it's rare for a baby anaconda to grow to the size of these giant ones.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So he wants to make sure he gets a big old one.
Yeah, okay. You know what? Okay.
But, like, even that is...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he wants to wrestle a snake, and like you were saying...
He wants to fuck a snake.
There you go. But
that is his goal in this movie.
But he's still trying to be, like, sinister and creepy, and he's
he's
straight up...
baby snakes
and he straight up calls a tiny baby snake lethal.
So young, I guess so lethal.
Get off me!
Yeah, as it bites Westridge's finger.
Yeah.
And you got this little CGI snake just...
Yeah, and I don't know why Westridge can't take it off himself, but...
Because he's a pansy. Like, that's his entire thing. He's,
that's fair, but I don't know.
He's the pansy boy to Ice Cube and Jon Voight's Manly Men.
So... But, I mean, based off of his reactions and Voight's line delivery, I am led to believe that if they did not remove the tiny baby snake from his finger, it would have eaten him.
Yeah, just
somehow.
Straight through. Like, yeah. Death by 1,000 bites. There is a secondary problem with this in that during the explosion, all of the boat's fuel has gone into the river.
And everybody knows that once a drum of fuel hits the water, it belongs to the snakes.
Yeah,
now.
it's not theirs anymore. Like, they don't own that fuel anymore. The boats are going to use it to fill up their fan boats and go cruising.
Yeah, it's just another one of those scenes where, like, as a kid and growing up, and it's like you watch this movie without thinking, you're like, oh, of course, the rest of them fell overboard. They only have one left. But, like, watching it recently, it was just like...
anchored.
Why don't they just get them?
Yeah, they're anchored. There's, like... not a whole lot of movement here other than the movement from the explosion. Mm-hmm. But even at that, the barrels are not far away. You can see them.
They couldn't possibly be, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's not like these people don't want to get wet because, like, they start jumping into the water to get more fuel pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, no, it's just, like I said, the drums belong to the snakes now.
Yep. They continue down this now open tributary, and they come across the Trejo boat. And decide to raid it for fuel, since their fuel now belongs to snakes. I don't think they considered the fact that maybe this fuel also belongs to the snakes.
Well, it's not touching the water.
Yet.
Yeah, exactly. They got to get to it before it does.
Okay. And
then again, maybe the snakes already claimed it because they don't find any there.
Yeah, they do not find any fuel. Jon Voight finds a newspaper clipping with him and Danny Trejo, and we now know that the two of them were partners.
Mm-hmm.
Voight busts open a chest, and it's full of tubes and snakeskin and
I don't know, just stuff.
I think it's definitely got the Anaconda skin in it.
Right.
And I think it's also got, like, the trank rifle in it and that sort of stuff.
It does have the trank rifle. I remember specifically seeing that.
But it just looks like a bunch of tubes.
I think it's just his snake hunting kit.
Yeah.
Essentially is what it is. And, there's a fully deployable snake trawling crane in there.
Yeah! I definitely...
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that was a lot. So we find out that the snake is watching Ice Cube and is going to maybe chomp on him. Instead, we have a very clumsy Mateo who, smacks around, nearly falls into a hole, and, goes staggering off the boat with a pair of women's underpants on his head. And
yeah, no, what was not, the cut scene was him just getting absolute shit-faced on the way to this boat.
It almost had to be, because he is, staggering around.
Yeah, he's not doing great.
It would have made sense if, Jon Voight would have pushed him in the water or something like that, because he does take credit for that later, too, where he's like, when Mateo fell in the water, I did that, too, and he didn't, though.
No.
And that was just Mateo falling off a boat.
Yeah.
And, as soon as he hits the water, he is snaked.
Yeah, and then we get our first real good CGI snake, and
now, by real good, I hope you're putting quotes around that and a bunch of asterisks, man, because
yeah, I read that apparently the CGI in this film cost the studio $100,000 per second, and oh man, I hope they kept the receipt.
And on top of that, they had two giant animatronic snakes, a 40-foot and a 25-foot,
right?
And those look good.
They look really good.
Those look good.
The effects on the snakes, the practical effects, to the surprise of nobody, look fantastic. The big snake, the queen snake, was actually displayed in a museum of science and effects, movie effects, right,
for a long time. And they had it peeled back so you could see the armature under it, and it's an actual really good effect.
It is.
And when they use it, it looks good. And even when they use the CGI to enhance how it looks good.
Yep. But when they decide to just straight up draw a snake in, it
doesn't
look good.
Great. Yeah, it hasn't aged well.
And it's only, fortunately, on the scenes where the snake grabs dudes. And I noticed whenever the snake grabs dudes, it's always by the face.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But
so you can see who it is.
No. The snake grabs their face, though.
Oh.
So, it grabs their face and then wraps around it. I guess that kind of makes sense. The snake wants to eat. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But no, they use the CGI snake, and I get it. They're not going to get an animatronic to move that swiftly or that intricately on an actor, at least without endangering the actor severely.
From what I understand, at one point, one of the animatronic snakes did malfunction and actually hurt JLo pretty bad.
Oh, so we almost have that scene from Bob's Burgers with the giant animatronic shark kind of moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if it was it thrashed and hit her, or if it was an electrical problem, or she got cut on it or something. I don't know the details.
It could be any number of those things, to be honest. But yeah, the point is, animatronics look amazing. CGI, not so great.
Yeah. So
and then I also had this note that the snake grabs, and we don't see this in any other scene. We don't see this in any other snake kill. But the snake grabs Mateo by the face, wraps him up, and then it just straight up snaps his neck like an action movie hero.
Right.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. We definitely see the snake break bones, and it's just when Jon Voight is describing what an anaconda does.
Right. It's usually just crushing. But no, this snake makes a point to try to twist his head around.
Snaps his neck like he's... Arnold Schwarzenegger infiltrating a boat or something.
It's hilarious. It's amazing.
So Ice Cube goes back to look for Mateo, but just finds his flashlight. We definitely get some more scenes where Jon Voight is intent on fucking the snake.
Yeah, he drops some real dope facts about anacondas.
That aren't true.
No, these are absolutely true. They're perfect killing machines. They are the perfect killing machine. They can sense
that was the
heat.
alien.
Different movie.
Oh.
And that's the perfect organism, Chris.
Oh, damn it, you're right.
No, if you want like the ultimate monster, you get a xenomorph face hugging an anaconda from this movie. But yeah, they sense heat, they snap your bones, they make your veins explode because they squeeze you so tight. And apparently they give you a nasty scar on your face for some reason.
Like J-Lo says that snakes don't attack or eat people.
Yeah, they don't kill people.
Jon Voight is like, oh, don't they?
Yeah, and
like,
he just gestures to the scar in his face. It's like, I don't
get it.
Did
man.
you get eaten by it? What happened there?
Did you get partially eaten?
Mr. Voight, I have questions.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be like his Quint from Jaws moment where it's like, a snake gave me this wound. But, like, he actually describes how the shark did it. And Jon Voight doesn't. Like,
no. And my assumption is that the snake had to wield like a knife or something.
Yeah, like a machete.
I don't know, but
it's very weird.
To be fair, I guess his scar doesn't look like a cutting scar. It's more like it almost looks like a chemical burn.
That's what I was thinking. Like, did the snake was trying to turn him into Two-Face?
I don't.
John Voight was like on the stand, like going against the snake, and the snake just threw acid at him. Or I don't understand. And even then, it's like, no, the snake didn't try to eat you. The snake tried to burn your face off, man.
Yeah, I don't understand it. But hey, you know what? Whatever. Jon Voight. Jon Voight.
Yep, Jon Voight. The crew decides to wait around until morning in case Mateo stumbles back to the boat. He doesn't, because he's inside a snake.
Yeah, and Westridge is not happy about this.
No, he's pissed.
And he and J-Lo get into an argument, and J-Lo says, like, just go into your cabin and lock the door. And then somebody says, like a bad boy.
Just go into your cabin and lock the door.
Like a bad boy. All right.
I don't know who.
I thought it was Westridge who said that. Like,
maybe.
He was like, oh, you're sending me in my room like a bad boy.
I watched this scene like 8 times, trying to figure it out. The subtitles do not credit anybody. I do not see Westridge's lips move. It may have been his voice, but it was in a completely different tone than the rest of everything he says.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who the fuck said this, but I love that line. It is incredible.
At the exact same time, we also get an amazing line read from Jon Voight.
Don't make me out a monster. I didn't eat the Captain Mateo.
Yes.
It's like...
Yeah, no, yeah. I almost put that in my notes as well, because it was...
That's a great line read.
Oh, it's so good. I mean... Oh, I just want to encapsulate everything that Jon Voight says and does in this movie and play it on repeat in my brain forever. I will die a happy man.
Oh, man. Like, it's very good. It's very, very, very good. During the night, Owen Wilson teams up with Jon Voight to try and capture the snake alive. So Owen Wilson is falling to the dark side.
Yeah, there's a scene where he's looking through this, like, one of the Jon Voight's, like, snake hunting journals.
Snake diaries.
And there's a picture, like a drawing of a snake muzzle.
Yeah.
And it's like, because everybody knows that the most dangerous aspect of a constrictor is its bite.
Yeah, there's some really great pictures in that little fucking Tijuana Bible that they have. Like that dude that's in a pose from like a 1950s Manly Men Adventure magazine where he's just like holding the knife back and going towards the snake.
I didn't see. I only caught the snake muzzle because that tickled me. But oh man, I might have to watch that scene again a little bit. But...
There's some really good pictures on there, and then there's like a lot of notes about snakes. It's a little Tijuana Bible about why Jon Voight wants to fuck a snake. So they shoot a monkey to use as bait for the Anaconda. Voight has now taken complete control of the boat.
Yeah, with Owen Wilson's help. Because Owen Wilson gives this little speech about how it's the logical move, and he decides that the logical move is to trust the man who won't help them unconditionally.
Yeah.
Like, like,
we're out here by ourselves, and
Yeah.
he knows how to save us.
we need to help him catch this snake, because then, and only then, will he get us back to the hospital. That's common sense. It's like, wow, Owen
Not just
Wilson.
let's throw Jon Voight off the boat and go on our way.
Yeah, like, let's find our way our own. No, it's, let's trust this man who wants to catch the big screamy snake, and then, and only then, will he help them.
Yep.
By the way, the snake screams.
A lot.
The snake screams so much in this movie.
I mean, Frank Welker had to earn his paycheck.
I guess so. Like, oh man, like, people always say how it's funny that the shark in Jaws roared.
Yeah.
This snake is just screams
The entire
constantly.
time. Yeah, anytime it's on camera.
Yep.
Basically. And not eating something.
Yep.
So now we have Owen Wilson and Jon Voight, like, trolling the river for the Anaconda.
They're snake fishing.
Yeah, I don't know why this boat had a Anaconda-sized fishing, like, line on it.
I meant to go back and look at earlier scenes because I don't think it's there.
From what they, like, putting this and a later scene together, I think it's the winch that they use to, like, pull themselves off the rocks and shit.
That would make sense.
But they're using it as a fishing rod to catch the anaconda, and there's a dead monkey at the end.
Yeah, so it's either the winch, or it was collapsed in that trunk. Yeah, one of the two.
One of the two, yeah. Or maybe he had some, like, gear in there that could modify the winch to be a fishing rod or something. I don't know. Jon Voight's magic.
I mean, he's an expert snake hunter. He
Yeah,
knows this
snakes
stuff.
are his business, and his lovers.
Yep.
So Jon Voight ends up catching the anaconda on the rod. Westridge and Owen Williams try to blind the snake using the boat's lights. It thrashes about like crazy. At the moment, Ice Cube goes to stab Jon Voight, but the snake tail whips him. It's super effective.
The snake uses its tail to, like, sweep everybody off their feet on the deck. Which, I don't know. I just made that note.
Yeah, I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just because it was, on a hook, and it was very upset about this fact.
I have opinions that disagree, but we'll get to that.
Okay. The snake barfs the monkey directly into Westridge's face.
Yep, just spits it
this
right out.
very damp, half-digested monkey right into... Yeah. That was gross.
Yep.
And it's in slow motion, too.
Yeah, it is.
The snake goes after J-Lo, chasing her into the cabin, and Jon Voight tranks it, or, like, shoots it with the tranquilizer dart.
Yep, right in its mouth.
Right in its mouth. Denise falls into the water, and Owen Wilson goes after her, and so does the snake.
Yeah.
And then Owen Wilson is snaked.
Yeah, it gets him.
Him.
By Owen Wilson.
By Owen Wilson. We flash forward a little bit, and Jon Voight is giving Owen Wilson last rites, and just in case you forgot, he was a priest in a former life.
And he's so snarky about it.
Oh, God.
Like, so deliciously sarcastic.
Yeah, he does this last rites bit, like, 2 times in the movie, and both times he is just super snide about it.
Oh, my God. It's
very good.
It's a work of genius.
Yeah.
May the souls of the faithful depart through the mercy of God. Rest in peace. Amen. Non departed Philly Spiritus Sancti. Westridge!
The scene ends with the snake swimming by with a Owen Wilson-shaped bulge in it.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Their money shot. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's really good. So, at this point, the crew decides to strike back against Voight and try and take their ship back. J-Lo attempts to seduce Jon Voight. Jon Voight is confused because she is not a snake.
Yeah. But then J-Lo is attacked by a Jon Voight-shaped snake as he mouth faces her.
It's the grossest kissing scene I've seen in a while.
It's pretty
He's just, like, trying to inhale her nose.
It's pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then like Ice Cube comes in from behind
with a knife.
Yeah, and Voight's like, "Aha! You thought I was stupid? I was planning on it." And then he goes in for another hard
kiss on J-Lo.
It's like, whoa, okay.
Dude. And then Westridge just clubs it in the back of the head.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Love the scene. It was great.
It's a good ambush scene.
It's a good scene. It's very uncomfortable, but it's also a good scene because again, you get more Jon Voight.
Yeah, and then you get people beating the shit out of Jon Voight.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the next morning, J-Lo goes to talk to the tied-up Jon Voight and, like, confront him about all the shit he's done. He takes claim for everything, whether he did it or not.
Yeah, this is where he makes the comment. He's like, "Don't forget about the wasp." But after she lays out everything he's done, and she decks him in the face for it.
She has a mean right hook.
Yeah, she does.
She really gets him.
But like, it's at this point that I'm pretty sure that Jon Voight was straight up paid for each unique like mugshot he could give. Like, man, he. Oh god!
There's got to be a video that's just a collection of Jon Voight's faces from.
Oh, absolutely!
Because
I guarantee
incredible.
If there isn't, then there needs to be. Get on that internet.
He has such an expressive face. And it looks like so good in this movie.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah. After their attack on Jon Voight, Ice Cube and Westridge are getting along like swimmingly at this point. They're discussing how to drive the boat, and Westridge is like, "Hey, Ice Cube, why don't you come over here and drive the boat for a bit?" And Ice Cube's like, "Heck yeah, I'll do that. We'll get back to L.A."
They had a character arc off screen.
It involved pummeling Jon Voight.
Maybe it brought them together like brothers.
Yeah, really. But the problem is, as soon as Ice Cube starts driving that boat, he crashes it.
I mean, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, he gets it like stuck on some rocks. I think that is.
Yeah, they were admiring.
Shallows.
Yeah, it's like this rock that's very slightly like kind of rising out of the water.
It might have even been like tree roots or something. Like that.
It was a rock. It was a rock.
Okay.
But like they were all distracted because of the
waterfall.
beautiful waterfall.
Yeah, it's the waterfall from the legend about the people of the mist.
Oh, okay. I did not put two and two together there.
Yeah, Jon Voight, like when they first found the tributary, was talking about there's this waterfall and they worship snakes there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally missed that.
Yeah, so it's the one from Jon Voight's legend. So the crew decides to try and winch the boat out, which does require them to get back in the water, something that they are none too thrilled about.
Understandable.
Yeah. So J-Lo and Ice Cube go to do one side of the winch, while Westridge goes to do the other one. You can kind of see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, but Westridge...
Based on the fact that I am calling two of the cast members by their real names and the other one Westridge.
Also, Westridge makes a comment that makes me think about his scrotum, and I really don't want to think about his scrotum.
Yeah, he jumps in the water and he's like, "Oh, the last time I was in the water like this, I had leeches all over my scrotum."
Yeah, it's like I don't.
Yeah.
No, please.
What were you doing?
No, thank you.
And weren't you just in the water not that long ago? What happened off scene?
Oh no. Actually, I don't think he was ever in the water.
Was he not?
No,
I guess not. I guess not. He's the only one who hasn't been in the water at this point.
He stayed dry up until this point.
Jeez, man. So while the others are off, like, prepping the boat to be winched, Denise goes to kill Jon Voight for his part in the demise of Owen Wilson.
I believe. I get her motivation is very well justified.
And she grabs... is that Ice Cube's knife? Or no, it's just a different
It was like
knife.
a kitchen knife.
Yeah, it's like a steak knife.
Yeah, it was a really gross-looking steak knife.
Yeah. And Jon Voight, like, psychs her out by telling her, like, don't look in the eyes of someone you want to kill. It'll haunt you forever. And she can't quite pull the trigger fast enough. He sweeps the legs, grabs her around the neck, and chokes her out.
With his legs.
With his legs, yeah. And then just kicks her into the water, grabs the knife, and starts cutting himself loose.
Yep.
And while he's doing this, he gives her last rites.
Well, he is a priest. He
was a priest.
Old habits die hard.
Yes.
But again, it's one of those where he does it
yeah.
Oh, he just...
It's very, it's in one smooth motion.
Yeah.
He sweeps her legs, grabs her around the neck, and squeezes like an anaconda. The snake arrives and begins to chase Westridge, chasing him up the waterfall, as snakes do.
Yeah, the prissy Englishman can apparently climb rocks like the best of them.
Yeah, he is a nature documentarian.
Even though he hates nature.
Yeah,
whatever.
Well, nature is actively attempting to kill him at this point.
And I guess the last time he was in nature, he had to peel a bunch of leeches off his scrotum, so whatever.
He has his reasons.
You know what? Westridge has a story that the movie does not divulge, and I hesitate to say I want to know, but...
I don't really want to know. I do kind of want a prequel about Jon Voight.
More Jon Voight, please.
Well, just him, being in the seminary and being like, this is not for me. I'm going to go fuck snakes for a living. And jumping on a boat and then going down the Amazon.
There's a rom-com in there somewhere.
Voight starts to rumble with Ice Cube and J-Lo once they realize something is amiss around.
And the punching sound effects they use.
They're not great.
Oh, woof, man.
It's bad Foley.
Oh,
it's bad Foley.
It's... Wow.
Yeah. Westridge makes a jump from the top of the waterfall, but the snake catches him like a yo-yo and yoinks him back up, causing the tree that they're both in to crash over onto the boat.
Which the Ice Cube gives a throwaway line later, is what dislodges the boat from the rock.
Right.
So, good thing.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Thank you, Snake.
Thank you, Snake.
It also
slash
wakes
Westridge.
Eric Stoltz up
Yes, it does.
from his amateur tracheotomy. The snake, tows Westridge away, but doesn't eat him because he's got a boo-boo on his head. Snake is just killing people at this point.
The snake is a serial killer. The movie told us as much at the beginning.
Yeah, this is true. Ice Cube gets his leg caught on the rocks or something in the river and can't quite get out. Snake starts wrapping him up and is gonna snake him real hard. And then J-Lo just blows its brains out.
Yeah.
Just fucking marks that thing.
Just hunting rifle right to the face, quite a few shots. Goodbye, snake.
Yep.
They killed the snake. I don't know what we're going to do with the rest of the runtime, but...
Yeah, apparently it's just them leaving and getting Eric Stoltz to a hospital.
It's got to be. The snake is dead.
Jon Voight has been tranquilized. Tranked?
Yeah, Jon Voight gets tranked from Stoltz.
Yep.
So, movie done.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
They come across an old boathouse / mill.
I think it was a mill.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
It's definitely a mill of some kind, but I thought it was like a boat repair place too.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Awful close to where this hidden tribe is supposed to be.
Yeah, I know, right? Maybe it was theirs. They just milling stuff.
Yeah.
And they decide to go up there and see if there's any fuel left over. Voight is still around and bashes Ice Cube in the head and ties J-Lo and Ice Cube up.
That's right. Yeah, I guess I should have seen this coming, because when they knocked Voight into the water after tranking him, and then the dart comes free, which I guess means that he's not tranked. I don't know. I don't know how trank darts work, especially ones of that size. So
one's the size of your arm.
But yeah, he knocks them out from behind,
ties them up, and splashes monkey blood all over them.
Yeah, which I guess is the implication is that it will attract the anaconda, well, I guess an anaconda. It's going to attract it.
Yeah.
So now we are given information that the anacondas hunt by heat, sight, and now smelling blood.
Yeah. They use all 5 senses.
The most
and
dangerous.
The 6th sense.
The perfect killing machine.
Yeah. These things could take over the world if they weren't stuck in the Amazon.
Yeah.
They determine, or Jon Voight shows them, that the powder on the floor of this mill is actually powdered bone.
Mm.
And I guess the implication of that is that the snakes squeeze people so hard it literally powders their bone.
How the bones got out of their bodies and not in the snake, I don't know. But you know,
but there's a lot of it.
Yeah, just powdered bone. All
yep.
right.
An even bigger snake attacks J-Lo and Ice Cube.
Oh shit!
Second snake. And Jon Voight captures all of them in a big net.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I was like, the entire time, I was just like, is he going to try to, lift the snake? Even with a winch, I don't think that's going to fly, my dude, but...
Yeah,
I don't know.
The problem with Jon Voight's stated objective in this movie, where he wants to capture one of these giant anaconda alive and sell it off, is that there's no way to get it on the boat.
Yeah, I don't know what... He doesn't have that step of his plan planned
Yeah, that's
out,
because that's not his actual plan. His plan is to fuck a snake.
All right, that's the unstated plan.
Yeah,
they just it's PG-13. They couldn't say it.
They couldn't say I am Jon Voight and I am going to fuck this snake. So instead, it's no, I'm going to capture it and sell it for $1 million.
Yeah, and that's the price he always puts on it. It's $1 million.
It's $1 million snake.
Whatever.
He shoots the snake with a tranquilizer dart, but it doesn't seem to do a whole lot other than piss the snake off. And the snake snakes him up real good.
Oh, and then we get the snake cam from inside the snake's
throat.
Oh,
it's so gross.
Oh man,
it doesn't look good, but it does look gross.
It's just, I don't...
It's nasty.
Man.
It's all pulsing and...
I didn't like it.
No, it was bad. It was
I
a bad
didn't
thing.
like it.
So the snake tail whips Ice Cube in his ding dong and chases J-Lo into more snakes.
Yeah.
I guess the implication is that this mill has become a nest for the anacondas.
More baby anacondas.
Yeah, even though they're not anacondas. There are other snakes.
No, they're anacondas, Chris.
Okay.
The movie told us so.
All right, then. So the snake projectile vomits Jon Voight at J-Lo, and he gives her a wink before melting to the floor.
And there's our true...
That's the money shot.
That's the scene. The scene.
The scene, yeah.
That is
if you remember anything from this movie,
you'll remember
it's the
this
snake
scene.
going, hork, Jon Voight sliding into view, winking at J-Lo, and then collapsing to the floor.
And giving his exit performance.
Yeah, goodbye, Jon Voight. You served us well in this movie.
So well.
Moment of silence for Jon Voight and all of his different faces.
I'm going to play taps here.
Or one of those songs that they play over, like, the
Play Ave Maria.
Yeah. So J-Lo and Ice Cube are planning to make their escape. J-Lo decides to go up the smokestack because she has legs, and apparently Ice Cube does not have legs.
Neither does the snake, so
Yeah.
the plan is sound.
If you say so, man.
Right?
Ice Cube spills the boat fuel all over the place.
Don't do that. You need that.
And then pickaxes the snake to the floor.
That's a good idea.
It is, except for the fact that when he hits the snake, you can hear metal hit metal. So, I guess they actually did puncture the animatronic there. Because that is definitely a clank sound.
Did not catch that.
Yeah. The plan is for J-Lo to go up the smokestack, the snake to chase her, be unable to go all the way because it's pickaxe to the floor, and then they blow it up.
Yeah, but J-Lo gets to the top, and there's like a grate with a hatch, and she apparently is so panicked she forgets how doors work.
Well, you ever, like, rush into a store to have to go to the bathroom, and it's obviously a pull door, and you just keep pushing on, and you're really upset that it won't open? It's something like that.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Like, again, I think the implication was meant to be that, like, it's rusted shut or something.
I remember it was like a lock
because
on
Ice
it or
Cube,
something.
yeah, because Ice Cube says push on the hinges.
Yeah.
But then it cuts to a scene where she just opens it.
Yeah,
she just opens it like normal.
Oops.
It's like, oh, that's right, it's a door.
Yeah. So J-Lo leaps from the top of the smokestack as it explodes, and we get kind of a neat scene with the flaming snake.
Oh, it is the coolest scene.
Yeah,
I
like-
love the fire. The flaming snake is badass.
It looks really good. It makes terrible noises.
It screams so much.
So much. Frank Welker is really putting in the effort here. J-Lo and Ice Cube are headed for the boat, and whoops, the snake's not quite dead yet as it pops through the dock and starts screaming at them again.
Well, it was on fire. I'd scream too.
Yeah, and then...
I don't know what his excuse the rest of the movie is, but...
it's in preparation of being on fire. You read the script.
He was prepared for
He
this
was,
movie.
yeah. But Ice Cube axes it a question, and the question is, are you going to live with your head split in half? And the answer is no.
Bravo, Chris.
Yes. They recover the remaining fuel. I don't know how it didn't explode with the rest of the fuel. They reunite with Steven and set off. And the last shot we get is of the people of the Mist coming to find out why a bunch of foreigners blew up their snake gods.
Yeah, I'd get the hell out of there.
Yeah, they are not going to be happy with these three fuckers.
But then we get the credits roll,
We
right?
get the credits roll, and that's the movie.
That's the happy ending movie.
Protect me from their venomous growth that springs from the needles of fangs attacked by snakes. By snakes. So many snakes.
So we're going to jump into the crunch. Again, typical fashion, you chose the movie, so you were in charge
Yeah, I'm
of this one.
piloting this boat down the Amazon.
But also in typical fashion, with me and my my control issues, I do have some notes, but we'll go ahead and jump into that.
So here we go. This one was kind of tricky to do because there's already straight up a giant constrictor snake in D&D.
I wouldn't know what that problem is like.
Yeah, this thing is like this is actually just straight up in D&D, this guy's already here.
Yep.
So I had to kind of get a little different with it.
Get creative.
Yeah.
Which,
So I have another giant constrictor snake.
So I've got a question on the name.
Yeah, his name is another giant constrictor snake. Done.
I have a just a proposition.
Yeah.
Screamaconda.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't even need to sell it. Okay.
Yeah. So now we got the Screamaconda, excuse me, and I did essentially lift its stats straight from the giant constrictor snake. The only thing I did is I took its dexterity a step up, just to make it a little bit faster. That's not going to affect a whole lot in this guy's stats, but it may work for saving throws and things like that.
So you have here. Well, let's talk about its. I'm honestly not super familiar. The giant constrictor snake in the monster manual, does it actually have a 30-foot swim speed?
It does.
Wow, that's a little surprising.
And so I just kept that the same. Real, quote-unquote, real anacondas do not move nearly as fast on land as they do in the water.
Right.
This guy does.
Yeah.
There's no real difference between him moving up that waterfall and swimming through the river. So
Right. No, that's fair.
I figured a 30-foot, there's no reason to change that.
Yeah, and so you were talking about the dexterity.
Yeah, I just pumped it up one step.
Yep.
That way he gets a little faster on initiative. And
I would like to give you. You have a strength at a 19 plus 4.
That's lifted right from the constrictor.
So to A, help differentiate a little bit from the book, and B, because Jon Voight insists on multiple occasions how strong these snakes are.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable to increase that up to 20 at minimum.
Really?
I'm okay. I'm also a little biased because I'm also sick of us creating monsters in the 1 to 4 challenge rating range.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That is my posit.
I personally think it's okay where it is
Okay.
because he's not that much different from the actual, in terms of strength and stuff like that. He's not that much different from the as written giant constrictor snake.
All right, fair enough.
And that's already a very good strength rating.
No, it is. It is. Don't get me wrong. But okay, fine.
Yeah, I did give him a skill in stealth. Regular constrictor snake does not have that. This guy's sneaky.
No, I'm glad you did that. And also I guess he has that +2 in perception, which makes sense because the snake is apparently very, very perceptive.
He can sense with all 5 senses and smell all the colors of the wind.
But I mean, if the I don't know, whatever. We'll continue on.
Yep. See, where this guy really differs from the as-written constrictor snake is in his abilities.
Yep. So the regular constrictor snake also has a blind sight of 10 feet?
Yep.
All right, then. I have no complaints.
Yeah. There's no reason to change what's already there.
That's fair.
That's why I really kind of went bonkers on his abilities. Because
which I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
I'm glad you did.
So his first ability is his ingest ability. Because we do see this stupid snake eat several people through the course of this movie.
Yeah, as snakes tend to do.
Yeah.
And this is the ability as a DM that makes me very excited.
You have a vor thing when it comes to monsters.
All right, so I've said it before and I'll say it again. It does not matter if you are a DM and you have a monster that can swallow a character, you make it your ultimate goal to do that. It does not matter, I assure you.
I just think you have a vor thing. Which is fine, you raise your freak flag, chase your bliss, I don't care, man. I hope Penny knows. That's all that's all I can say is I hope your wife knows.
Our wedding night, let me swallow you whole. It was the indicated, in the indicator there.
Yeah. But, on your cake, you had little figures of you and Ben. Did you just eat those?
No.
All
right.
I'm done now.
For the record, this is fictitious. I'm with Chris. I mean, you do you. We won't yuck your yum.
No.
I ain't into vor, but I do want my monsters to swallow players. I'm sorry. I just do.
Yeah, sure. So. Yeah, whatever, man. I'll stop ragging you about it. I don't care. But yeah, if Mr. Snake here grapples a large or smaller creature, because he is also a large-sized creature, we did have he's huge. He's huge. We had kind of a debate over what size to make this guy, because according to the size rules, if the snake stretched himself completely out, he'd be gargantuan.
Yeah, but no.
That doesn't work.
No, we can't do that. We just can't.
I really want to. I would love to have a gargantuan snake. But if Mr. Snake grapples a larger, smaller creature and reduces it to 0 hit points, he consumes the creature. The creature is stabilized, so it's not making death saves at this point. But it also may not gain hit points or make actions until removed from the snake. This is basically just a little bit of player leniency on this. That way they don't immediately have a dead player on their hands.
Right.
Because I don't like that. That's a bad feel.
So, you know what? Hold on. Hold that thought. Give me 1 second. So, I'm looking at the Froghemoth.
Right.
Who also swallows creatures.
Yeah.
The big difference here is the Froghemoth, granted, I know it's a challenge rating 10. It's a little bit more... You know what? Maybe I should just look at the giant frog instead. Because I believe those can swallow as well.
The giant frog can if it's small or smaller, I believe. Or you can eat gnomes. Even though gnomes can be the size of dwarves, which is just uncomfortable.
Okay, so you're right. The frog, the giant frog has the swallow ability.
Yeah.
But it's a medium beast, so
right.
So I think that to make it to simplify it and make this ability more fun, because let's face it, if the snake is, it's going to be a pretty rare time where the giant anaconda is going to drop a character to 0 HP.
Right.
And if that happens, I don't know. Looking at it from a DM perspective, if you get a player character to 0 HP, and you don't, I'm speaking from personal experience, I don't want to kill my character, my players.
But you're just good at it.
It comes natural. No, I don't want to. So I like the idea of being able to use this cool ability only when they are on death's door is not a fun idea to me.
Okay.
What's more fun is eating them alive. I know, but eating them alive. Now, the giant frog's ability, Swallow, it says the frog makes 1 bite attack, and this is an action, not an ability. The frog makes 1 bite attack against a smaller target because the frog is medium. So I would think that for giant anaconda, we could be medium or smaller. But makes 1 bite attack against a smaller target. It is grappling. If the attack hits, the target is swallowed and the grapple ends.
Okay.
The swallowed target is blinded and restrained. It has total cover against attacks and other effects outside the frog, and it takes 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of the frog's turns.
Okay.
The frog can only have 1 target swallowed at a time. If the frog dies, a swallowed creature is no longer restrained by it and can escape from the corpse using 5 feet of movement, exiting prone. That sounds just like, I think we should just straight up lift that. Yeah, pretty much copy that.
Okay.
Maybe edit the damage a little bit.
To make, since this is a bigger critter.
Yeah, and I mean the giant frog's challenge rating is 1/4.
Right.
So yeah, but I think that it would make total sense to just lift that and put that in the giant anaconda as opposed to this ingest ability.
Okay.
I'm thinking 2d8 acid damage.
Okay. It's kind of funny how this creature's name is based off of the noise it makes, and yet it has such a high stealth ability. Once it's found out, it starts screaming its head off.
Yeah. All right, so carry on. So we got its. We modified its ingestibility to the giant frog's swallow ability with a little bit more damage, 2d8.
All right. So with that difference in mind, regurgitate prey works slightly differently, but not enough to really worry about it. If it's used its swallow ability within the past 24 hours, the snake can vomit up its prey. This is based entirely on the Jon Voight scene. Either alive or dead. All of the creatures able to see or hear this must make a DC 14 wisdom check or become frightened for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, yada yada yada. It's the same as the dragon's fearful presence. It just involves barfing up Jon Voight.
Yep. And I have no notes on that one. I think that works just fine.
I just, like, if your players are in a fight with this thing, and they don't know what it's going to do, and all of a sudden it inhales one of their characters. Mm-hmm. Just, sucks them up. Yeah. Especially considering swallow now instead of ingest. Like, right. Yeah. And they're like, oh crap, he's got our fighter just inside of him. Yeah. That's not a good thing. We need to get that fighter out of him. So they start attacking the snake, and the snake is like, oh no, this is bad. And it just goes, hork, and spits up the fighter, covered in digestive juices and like in a lot of pain, and then just scoots off while everyone's afraid of it.
While the fighter winks at the party.
Yeah, and then falls to the floor.
No, absolutely. I think that the regurgitate prey is a very good touch. I applaud you on that for sure.
Yeah, I love that so much.
That is a nice touch.
I have to be 100% awesome.
You are 100% awesome, Chris.
Honest, excuse me. And I was really struggling about which movie to pick for this week. And then I was like, well, let's go backwards. Let's find a creature that have a cool ability to replicate in-game. And then I was like, well, what about vomiting up Jon Voight? I know exactly how I would do that. Okay, we'll do Anaconda.
And there you go. There you go.
Yep.
That's how, and you know what? It works, because that is a very fun ability.
Yeah.
It's a simple one, but it works. It makes sense. It ties into the movie just fine.
Yep.
I originally had a note that maybe we give this thing a tail attack, but now that we've made the swallow attack, that seems unnecessary. So as far as its attacks or its actions, we've got the swallow.
They are the same as the giant constrictor snake.
Yeah,
I didn't change them.
Bite and constrict.
Yep.
Obviously modified with. I guess it does the same. Does it do the same amount of damage as the giant constrictor snake?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
because I didn't change its strength at all.
Fair.
Just its dex, and neither of these are based off the dex.
That's fair. So. And then, there you have it. You got your Screamaconda.
Yep.
It's a giant constrictor snake, vanilla giant constrictor snake with a little bit more, Jon Voight involved.
Like in Magic the Gathering, when they're creating cards, a vanilla creature is just a creature that has no abilities. It's like a 2/2 creature for 2 or 3. That's a vanilla creature.
Right.
A French vanilla creature is a vanilla creature with just a stack of like a static ability stapled to it.
Okay.
It's like if a creature has fear or flying or something like that. This is a French vanilla constrictor snake.
Damn, that's a good name too. But yeah, there we go.
So that, I think that does it for the crunch this time.
Yeah, pretty simple, pretty quick.
So should we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, let's.
First of all, this was my pick this week, so you're up next week.
Right.
What is your pick?
Well, I originally wanted to do another one of my absolute favorite creature movies, and a more recent one, which is Life, with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal. I really was excited to do that, and I was thinking about what we could do with the monster and everything. But last minute, I kind of decided that I didn't want to do that. Instead, I wanted to go a completely different route. So far, we've done movies that we've both either watched or
have
at least
some familiarity.
Yeah, or in the case of Sweetheart, at least one of us has watched and knows. I wanted to pick a movie that neither of us have watched.
Yeah.
And then also, so far, all of these movies have been with a serious tone, serious idea. Like, I mean, our more recent two have been not as obviously unintentionally humorous to a degree.
Yeah, I'd say even The Blob can get in that category.
Right, but I mean, they all fit in the same genre. They all fit in the same idea. So I thought, well, let's pick one that is intentionally funny. And there is one movie that falls under these criteria, and that is Love and Monsters, which I have heard is a fantastic movie.
I've heard good things about it. I know nothing about it.
All I know is that it is a good movie, it is a comedy, and there be monsters in it.
Yeah.
My wife's watched it. She's enjoyed it. So that's what we're going to be doing next week is Love and Monsters.
All right.
So look forward to that.
Cool.
Do we have anything else before closing up?
I don't think we've got any new news. We still got the Patreon going. Right now, I think we just got the $5 level. And if you subscribe to that, you'll get our Creature Kibbles, which are little...
Critter Kibbles.
Yep. Which are little bonus episodes where we stat out something that isn't in the main episode that still relates to the movie.
Right, yeah. So for Alien, we did the face hugger and the android. For Sweetheart, we gave our beach hunter lair actions. We still haven't recorded the Blob yet, but we're going to pick something out. I've got something fun.
Yeah,
I've got a fun idea for this one. So definitely, consider supporting us there. We really appreciate the help.
If you can't donate money right now, that's totally understandable. It's a hectic time for literally everyone on the planet. If you just want to give us a rating on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star, give us a nice little review, tell us that we're cool.
Yeah, it's Apple Podcasts too, by the
Whatever
way.
the hell it is.
I don't know. I'm so unfamiliar with Apple stuff.
Yeah, I don't know Apple products. The last time I had to deal with Apple products was when I was working at AT&T, and the iPhone had just come out. So that's been a while.
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, give us a rating, give us a review, give us some more visibility if you enjoy the show. And even just to help stoke our egos.
Yeah, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a frenemy, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your mom, tell your, I don't know, anyone. Just tell people off the street that, hey, there's a podcast where...
Yeah, don a newsboy, like a news boy cap.
X Street, there are creatures.
Yeah, grab a soapbox, hit the streets, start shouting it from the rooftops.
Yeah,
But yeah, so thank you so much for listening. Check out our Patreon, like Chris was just saying. We are on Patreon, Creature Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
You can also follow us on Twitter, Creature Crunch.
We kind of lucked out in that we picked a podcast name that literally nobody had used for anything other than like a really obscure computer game back in the early 90s.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
You did good, Chris. You did good.
I picked a good one.
So, and then you can also reach out to us via email. We are creaturecrunchpodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to shout out even if you want to like suggest a movie to watch.
Yeah.
We're all ears, and especially if you use any of these stat blocks, if you play around with them.
If you end up running one of these in a campaign, please tell us how that came out and if your players enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we would love to hear your stories on that regard. And something that I did more recently come up with was we are purposefully avoiding describing these creatures beyond the stat block.
Beyond what we see in the movie.
Yeah,
describing them in the framework of the movie.
Right. And that is very much intentional. That way, DMs, if you're using these creatures, they can look like whatever you need them to look like. If you want to put the xenomorph from Alien, or in this, if you want to put an giant anaconda in your from the movie Anaconda in your campaign, by all means. But if you want it to be some sort of other creature or something similar that has the same abilities and same stats, but then by all means, these creatures are there to fit your needs.
And heck, if you run one of these and for whatever reason it doesn't work like you want it to, tell us so that we know that that's not something that works.
Yeah. We have no idea. Like, frankly, we're
shooting in the dark here.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even run any of these guys yet, so hopefully it'll change. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And finally, if you want to follow us individually, you can. Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the Library C. That's CEE.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Danny_Hamsteak. So we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Why do you